Hey, FlimsyLunchTray here, and welcome to today's video, where today I'm doing something a little different. I don't have a Friday highlight video for you today. I've not been playing World of Warships a lot this past week, but I will be featuring Defense next weekend. What I do have is a continuation of our Veteran Player Guide series, and this will be part 14 in talking about uncomfortable choices, uncomfortable decisions, less than ideal circumstances, when you're going to be forced in the game, depending on what ship you're playing, you're going to be forced into not ideal circumstances in order to make a big play for the game. And when we go through this Veteran Player Guide series, we talk about like kind of the fundamental cores is that you understand your ship really well, your ship strengths, your ship's weaknesses, but also able to understand enemy ship strengths and weaknesses that you go up against, and then map awareness, situation awareness, all those kinds of things. So this video I actually submitted to Jingles last week as a game of throws. So maybe he'll feature it, maybe not. Now I need to say up front, this is a game where I am not going to have some big massive game in terms of like damage, lots of kills. It's more about what ends up happening, particularly on this flank, as we'll get into that as time goes on. But particularly what ends up happening on this flank and the decisions that I have to make to help buy my team time, and then also the friendly Salem and Svea are going to have an even better games than me, and be very important to this whole shish kebab of a battle that we're about to have here. So I have a Forrest Sherman and a Shimakaze with me. I'm in the Jinan as 10-127. I'm saying that right? Or is it 12-120? Yeah, 10-127 millimeter guns. I'm getting mixed up with the A gun on the rear there. And it has deep water torpedoes. And you're going to end up seeing that I really wish I didn't have deep water torpedoes when you see what ends up happening here on this flank. So enemy daring, enemy Shimakaze are over here. I'm torping for San Martin. I think San Martin's going to probably dive the island. Maybe he wants to go for the daring smoke. I go ahead and smoke up. The life of a cruiser, tier 10 cruiser, high tier, you already see the shots coming in. When your cruiser, especially light cruiser, is detected very at the start of the battle, you usually get focused pretty heavy by other enemy battleships, other enemy cruisers, as we just annihilate the planes there and helping our Shimakaze out. But you end up being focused. So we're going to go ahead and blow a smoke here. It's important that we do that. And we're going to be focusing on trying to support our destroyers on this flank, is what happens. Now, if you look on the mini-map, we actually have 3 friendly destroyers on our flank. And we have one in friendly destroyer up on the north. It's Marceau. So keep that in account. So we're up to 5 destroyers now here on this flank. So I'm going to pop some more shots off. I see the San Martin's backing out. I think he's trying to go dark. And I just want to see if I can get a fire on him in that. But I have to be mindful of situational awareness, that there's an island in front of me, right? We do get a fire, but, San Martin's kind of this cockroach of a cruiser that's very hard to kill. So any damage you can add to it is very meaningful. Let's see, we have a destroyer that's over there in Bravo. And there's another destroyer coming through the mid-channel in Bravo. So there's 2 destroyers in Bravo, 2 at sea, but one of the enemy destroyers in Bravo is coming over from Bravo towards Charlie. So we're going to go ahead and count him. So now we're up to 6 destroyers on this flank, and it's the Di Barbiano. I don't know, that's how you pronounce the ship, but I'm just going to throw an Italian accent on it. Mecklenburg's still focusing us. So we've been playing with our throttle, and that, one of the great things that helps with Jinan is that we do have a heal. It'd be very painful to play the ship without the heal. When I'm talking about strengths and weaknesses of the ship, it's ideally made more for cruisers and battleships, particularly battleships that you want to get all these deep water torpedoes off, because you have lots of deep water torpedoes, as you see we're throwing out here. And then using more your guns for fire starting and dealing with destroyers in particular. So the Shimakaze has reappeared, so we're going to get some shots on him. And the Forrest Sherman is trading with the Shimakaze, and he's getting actually focused by the San Martin. So I think he was trying to push in with his Hydro on the Shimakaze, but we had the first kill, and so he is gone. Meanwhile, the enemy destroyer that was in the middle of Bravo is moving closer and closer to Charlie. So we might soon be going from 6 to full-on 7 destroyers as a whole on this flank. So we'll see where he ends up going. And then we have the Barbiano again. That little sucker is going to be a pain for us to deal with. You have to see how we deal with him as well. And he's piloted by a good player. We've lost now our Shimakaze. So that sucks. So have no fear. We still have another destroyer here helping us out, right? And we do pick off the enemy Shimakaze. We're able to secure that kill. So that's really helpful. Now with all the destroyers that are here on sea, it's not so ideal, I would argue right now, for me to just push in. The Barbiano, you know, yeah, I'll get more into the commentary with the Barbiano and my approach with him. But it's not so ideal to push in right now. But you can see we're really, you know, we don't have cap control at all. We're about to flip this cap. And so it's really putting us on the back foot here, and the points are quickly going to start getting away from us. And essentially what we need to happen is for our team at A, they have it secured. They're already pushing the enemy team away to secure A, or at least slow down, stop the points. Meanwhile, Hugamo goes down because he gets spotted by the enemy CV. Yay, joy. So that's not good. And if you have seen now, all the other 3 enemy destroyers are now here on this flank. So we're up to total, there have been 7 destroyers on this flank. 3 of our own, and all 4 of the enemy destroyers have been here at sea now. So what do you think that means, you know, for us here in the Jinan? I mean, we're a cruiser, we don't have radar, we don't have hydro, all of them outspot me, you know, and so it's like, what are we going to be able to do here? You know, so you see me commenting in chat, not sure what to do at sea now. What is the other comment? Oh, wrong torps. I'm joking about the deep water torps. You know, so if I had like surface water torpedoes, it'd be great to just like dish them out and maybe we catch an enemy destroyer off guard. But you know, then you have Laffy. It's got a strong heal. Barbiano with the sap. You know, he's utilizing friendly spotting. And I decide that I want to focus him because I kind of view him more as the threat. And I am going to preemptively go ahead and pop a heal here to help us out. But I do want to be able to focus on him because you can just see like this sap is really just bringing us down. And I'm realizing here I'm not leading enough. And I can't really push in right now. Like, this is the play, the strategy. So I'm in an uncomfortable decision. I'm in a less than ideal circumstance. So what is it that I'm going to try to do here? Well, there's 2 strategies I usually do in this kind of situation. One is I'm going to see if the enemy team, one of the enemy destroyers, makes a mistake as they push into us. I can get the kill here. And the other thing I'm going to try out here is when I sense the time is right, I will have to probably make a push back in. So I'm waiting for this ideal moment to maybe to push back in. But for now, I want to see if these destroyers are getting a little overconfident. They're going to push in, make a mistake, and we're going to exploit that weakness. And then, you know, secondly, we're going to wait kind of for the ideal opportunity to perhaps be able to push in. So they're kind of just, they're shooting at other ships. You can see the stream of fire that's just coming out of Charlie from that Barbiano. And also the Laffy chiming in on someone there as well. Looks like one of the cruisers here that's smoked up. So because they're not focused on me right now, what I really want to do is be able to be up here on their top side. Like, it's not great for me to just keep running back deep into spawn. Like, I want to be somewhat near the cap, and this is kind of where I'm struggling in my mind back and forth. How close do I want to be? Is it the time for me to push right back on the sea right now? Is it not? And so I kind of feel that it's maybe not quite yet. I see I'm getting some targeted, maybe some torpedoes coming in. So with the priority target, I'm using that. So if you're getting flashed, you see how it's going 1 detected, 1 detected. Usually that means there's a destroyer that's torpedoing you, right? So I decide I'm going to back off right now, see if we can catch out a destroyer again. And so the daring gets spotted. So then we're going to focus on him again. So I'm kind of just you know, also I guess it's about psychological warfare. Is the Jinan pushing in? Is he not? Because I don't want them to just push deep into us and pushing us further back into the spawn. I want to still pose as a threat, and I'm not just a cruiser that's going to simply just run away here, but I'm going to contribute as best as I can. So the daring is low, so call him out. Let's get him off the board, because it's actually pretty big here. So what I'm wanting to do here is I want to take out the daring. If the daring goes down, perhaps when the Barbiano smokes up, what I'm able to do is push in on the Barbiano, because the Barbiano won't know that I'm coming, right? And going to be charging in towards him, which is the play I'm going to end up making here. But there's a Laffy here as well. And Laffy, of course, you don't get a ton of smoke in. So he still has that spawning, and I'm like, I'm trying to sense things out. You can see enemy team 700 points. We're just over 327, or no, at 327 because they're on our cap. So I'm really hoping that our team can kind of break free from A, and that our cruisers, battleships that are letting the enemy team somewhat push into them and try to chip away their damage. Like, that's fine and all, but there's just some point you have to decide, when am I going to push back in? Now the Laffy, I noticed, disengaged. He's turned out in the way, and Barbiano still has the smoke up. So now I decide to make the play where I need to get rid of the Barbiano. The Barbiano it's kind of a mental thing that Barbiano does. He shoots out so many shells that, you know, no cruiser battleship player wants to just be constantly shot at. And so Barbiano's pretty good at pushing away your teammates, right? Side to side. Now's the time for me to push back in. I popped a heal, and look how much health we lost in such a short amount of time. So I knew I would have to sacrifice hit points there to end up making a play and getting rid of him. And in the meantime, our Yamato has taken out the San Martin. So 382, 767. Enemy team still on A. They still have points sticking in from Bravo and Charlie. Now my goal is I want to push in here on Laffy. Now Laffy gets 2 racks of 5 torpedoes of 10 torps. With 8-kilometer torpedo range. So I'm being mindful, you know, Laffy, ideally you're utilizing the torps on targets that are pushing in, and he's got this smoke that he's able to use and turn off after, I think, like 10 seconds of action time. Meanwhile, the Mecklenburg is back on this flank and going to be shooting, so we have to be mindful of him. But I really need to get this Laffy off the board, or at least spot him for my team, because my team is beginning to now reshift, where you can see them pushing more into A, but they're going to be swinging. They're trying to deal with the Des Moines there in Bravo, and so I know if I get the Bravo, help them get the Bravo off, or Charlie off, get the Des Moines killed, that will help free them up, and they'll be able to come aid me a bit faster. But in the meantime, Laffy has popped up. We're within main battery firing range of Mecklenburg. So I'm like, maybe we get some deep water torps off here if KC ends up deciding to push back in. And then I'm still debating. Let's go ahead and smoke up. There's the torps. We need to accelerate so we have some propulsion. But at the same time, also kill the throttle so we can just turn in enough to avoid. And then we're going to throw off some other deep wide torpedoes. I just want to get 1 torp on Mecklenburg. Like, that's really my play here and why I'm widespreading and trying to fan them. I don't always recommend widespreading, but I just know if I get 1 torp, just 1 torp, that will be really helpful to the team. Meanwhile, enemy team 865 points. We're at 467. Now I'm going to start chiming in on the Des Moines. Try to help them out. And we get detected here. And I'm like, why am I detected? Well, Laffy has reversed out behind that little island there to shoot us. Now, just because I can't see him doesn't mean I'm not going to give him some 127s as well. So we're going to start stacking up some damage on him, and then we're going to push him back behind the island. You can see I'm not detected anymore, which is great. I go ahead and decide to utilize torpedo reload booster, and as soon as I step out of smoke, there is the enemy Nakimov. So that is not good. I'm like, crap. I'm full on broadside to his skip bombers. So we finally get the A defense off as well here. Laffy's kind of pushing up a bit more. I'm low on health, and so now the play is, can I take the Laffy with me, or can I at least deal as much damage as possible? My friendly CV's helping me out, just gets a big strike on him there. And I'm just going to be focusing him, not worried about getting more torps off on the Mecklenburg, who does end up taking us out here. Enemy team 928 points. We're at 524 points. They take out the Laffy, 906, 567. So it wasn't ideal circumstance, you know, for me as a Jinan, a cruiser with no hydro, no radar, outspotted. You know, now there's 8 destroyers total have been here at sea as our friendly Marceau's coming over. So a flank where the entire destroyer team on both teams have been at sea cap is like, wow, like that's quite a lot. And it's not so common to see all enemy destroyers like on one specific flank. So that kind of caught me off guard. And it made our life a little more difficult, but hey, when you're playing World of Warships, oftentimes, like one of the points of this video is, you often find yourself in not ideal circumstances. So I'm telling the Marceau, hey, you know, the Nakimov is going to try to spot you. If you come out from behind the island, Mecklenburg will likely take a shot on you because of how low health you are, right? So it's important, you know, don't come out. You know, keep the island between you and Mecklenburg right now. He's got torps off. I never connected with any of my deep water torpedoes. But the Mecklenburg is really close to going down here. Enemy team still 927 because our Marceau is flipping C. He's also stopping the points intake here. And they drop 902 as we go 694. But then we lose the Yamato, so 942, 675. Marceau has avoided the torpedoes from the Nakhimov. And then now it's like, yeah, we just need him to live. Nobody die. But it's a Nakhimov, right? So you have a Marceau that's about to die. But Marceau's pretty agile. It's got engine boost. It's got a defensive A. And then you have a Salem. And you also have a Svea. And Svea is really close to dying. And he's broadside to the Nakhimov attack rocket planes. So if they group together, they'll stop the strike, right? No. So that was really close. Svea ends up living there. Enemy team 942 points. We're at 744. But both Salem and briefly this Svea are going to step onto the cap. And I'm not trying to be obnoxious in the chat and kind of giving some advice. Like, I'm not trying to be dead admiral armchair breathing in. I do try to be mindful of that. But I just only, like, it's kind of a bit of a humor, but then also, like, if I do see some maybe advice that will help out, like, I'll go ahead and offer it, but I'll try to be mindful. Holding breath, ooh, he just takes 1 overpin, I think, from the skip bomb. And so very nice. So we compliment him as well. Like, if you're going to be Admiral Armchair, at least compliment your team on what they're doing, right? 19 points, 942. Nakhimov has made a really good decision. When you're a CV player like this and it's down to the wire, like, just go bow in. It's a lot, like, you won't be able to get citadels on you in that, right? And you present a smaller target. Now the Salem, he has an incredible game. He's an incredible player. But I end up noticing a lot of his shots seem to be going high and landing on the deck. Because he's not, the Nakhimov's not losing a lot of hit points really fast, so you can see shells there landing. So I just kind of encourage Salem, like, if he drops the shells more into the bow or the hull, like, he'll do more damage, right? And you think he's already, you know, he's sniffing onto that. He's a really good Salem player. I checked his stats afterwards. And then he feels like when he gets to a good enough angle, he goes ahead and switches over to his armor piercing. I guess he'll be able to deal a bit more damage there. So now we're at 915 points, still enemy team 942. And we had like this like 600 point gap early on in the game, right? It was incredible difference. But the big play here is you see all these dead destroyers over here at sea was finding those opportunities to, you know, one is see if the enemy destroyers make mistakes, enemy players make mistakes, exploit the mistakes, and then wait for the opportune moment to be able to push back in. Maybe a little Jack Sparrow vibes there, just waiting for the opportune moment. So only 53,000 damage, right? But I'm going to talk about why that damage is significant in a moment. 2 destroyed, you know, 3 defended ribbons, like a couple set on fire, 18 planes shot down as a whole. We actually got a first grade efficiency badge here, even though our damage is quite low. Base XP wise, we're 3rd with 2,231, Svea 2,469, Salem with the 3,493 base XP. Dude had a massive game. I complimented them both. I think I also complimented the Marceau. We're doing a really good job here in preventing this game from going being worse. And you see, look how much damage we've done to the Barbiano, Shimakaze, the Laffy, the Daring. We've done over 44,000 damage to the destroyers alone. So that's one of the reasons why our base XP is so high, despite how little damage we have. And we did shoot down 18 planes, so that helps out as well here. And we took 58,000 damage in a Jinan with 1.2 million potential damage. Just running some green boosters, tech tree ship, 290,000 credits. So part of when you become more like a veteran player in the game, you know, one of the things I argue, it's not just about the stats in terms of like, oh, I had a big damage game. Like sometimes it's about, hey, did you contribute in a meaningful way during the game that brought about moments of victory, where you work together as a team to bring about the victory, where you're just not trying to play selfishly. Maybe I just, oh, there's all these destroyers on this flank, I'm just going to charge in, die, get my torps off, and I want to go play another game. But saying, hey, I'll try to work with my team here. I'll see if they get time and disengage from A, come through Bravo, over here to Charlie. I'll see if I can exploit enemy destroyers, if they make some mistakes, see if we can tread some more down. And then when I feel like the moment's right, I'll push back in when opportunity's right. And the big moment was pushing in on the Barbiano while he still had his smoke screen up, that I could close the distance, catch him off guard where he couldn't just simply run away from me because he's faster than me, right? So we worked some things to our advantage, knowing our ship strengths and weaknesses, and knowing the Barbiano's strengths and weaknesses as well. So if you liked today's battle video, give it a thumbs up. If you didn't, give it a thumbs down. Subscribe if you do want to see more. If you're subscribed, thanks so much. I appreciate it. Thank you to my Patreon supporters. Until next time, take care.